without fail, every week somebody leaves at least one, if not like 5 comments on Vintage Space asking me, or more telling me that I should be talking about the space shuttle now because it's vintage. So instead of discussing again what I consider vintage space and the fact Alright, so maybe that sounds like unnecessarily harsh to say that I don't like the space shuttle, but truth be told, like, I'm not super fascinated by the space shuttle. And this comes as a massive surprise to everybody for some reason, and I don't totally get it. So the space shuttle, for those of you who don't know, which I can't imagine is anybody out there that would be watching this, is this thing right here. This is the shuttle orbiter, and of course we're most familiar with seeing it in its launch configuration, where there's, you know, the big external tank and then the 2 solid rocket boosters. The shuttle was conceived in the mid to late 1970s, started flying in 1981, and flew its last mission in 2011. It flew 135 times, orbited about 200 miles above the planet because it helped build the International Space Station, and that's where the ISS orbits. It launched 5 interplanetary missions. It was able to take cool stuff like Hubble up in its payload bay, which is massive. Here's the cockpit, here's the payload bay. So yeah, that was, I mean, that's kind of like the shuttle program in a nutshell for me. So yeah, why I'm not super into the shuttle. People assume that I should be like a massive shuttle fan because it's my vintage, as it were. I'm a little bit younger than the shuttle program, but I did grow up with it. I mean, for me, I always knew there were astronauts in space because of the space shuttle. And when I started reading about space things, and every time there was talk of astronauts anywhere, it was always in reference to the shuttle, and there were always pictures of this iconic spacecraft. So yeah, I grew up with this as like what space flight was. But it was never very interesting to me, because it really, like, it's not hard to see that the shuttle didn't do the same kind of discovery and exploration as all of the Apollo era vehicles and programs. So that's, I mean, that's really what it comes down to. For me, in any technology and any sort of history that I'm really fascinated by, because I feel like I've said this a million times and I'm going to keep saying it, I am an historian that likes space, not a space person that likes history. So for me, the histories that I'm always fascinated by, be it space or other, it usually has to do with a